Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Last Week in Comics. I have 2 boxes of Mega Evolution, the booster boxes, and a couple other packs of random Japanese Pokemon packs, and one of these is for my niece, and then a Joltik. I'm going to be opening these instead of doing Last Week in Comics. I am kidding. This is a bit I'm doing. If you want to see me open them, I was opening them on my live show, Ash and Their Fantastic Friends, every Saturday, 9 p.m. EST. Who knows if there's any hits? I personally just have not been in a real comic booky new mood, which is crazy given one of the announcements that happened this week. Which, you know what? Before I even get into the comics, I need to get this off my fucking chest about the new book crossover that's happening. So, if you didn't already know, I have recently been getting really into All Elite Wrestling, otherwise known as AEW, which is kind of like the biggest rival to WWE right now because we do not support WWE. They are fundamentally a right-wing organization. Vince McMahon, of course, formerly ran it. His wife, Linda McMahon, is currently the Secretary of Education. His son-in-law, Triple H, otherwise known as Paul Levesque, has been seen multiple times with Trump. This company is a Republican company. AEW, on the other hand, we have a champion who has openly stated fuck ICE and asked people, because they accidentally played ICE ads during AEW Dynamite recently, and we had our main, the main champion right now, the men's champion, Hangman Adam Page, openly saying, hey, go complain to HBO right now. Then Brody King with his fuck ICE shirt. This company has a really good working relationship with both CMLL, which is a luchador company, and also New Japan, which is a Japanese wrestling company, and also Stardom, which is a Joshi company, which is for female Japanese wrestlers. Anyway, that's besides the point. AEW is doing an official crossover with DC Comics. Now, this is building off of the relationship that they had previously had in the past, with them doing adverts at the end of books, promoting their the faces of their company, like Swerve Strickland, Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, Tony Storm, and Britt Baker, who is no longer with the company, or at least I don't think she is. But anyway, they are doing a officially branded crossover, which also means that not only are we getting comics out of it, but we are also getting a DC-sponsored event, which they have sponsored wrestling events in the past, but this one is a official collaboration, and I cannot be more excited because I have been getting really into AEW. I love all the wrestlers for AEW. I have been tweeting at Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, who make up the team Jet Speed, to be Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, like get Blue Beetle and Booster Gold gear. Also notably, Swerve Strickland has had both Static and Mr. Terrific gears in the past. Bandito and Brody King, otherwise known as Brodito, my favorite tag. I have so many favorite wrestlers about this, but one of my favorite tag teams. They also I think that Bandito might try and do Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle. However, I need them to do Big Barda and Scott Free. I need Brody King to dress up as Big Barda. I did not say this in the TikTok I made earlier, but I need it in my soul for Brody King to be Big Barda and Bandito to be Scott Free. I also think it would work with Bandito's mask. It's so perfect, and MJF as Maxwell Lord, and I made a video on this, and I kept on coming up with more and more wrestlers. Hangman Adam Page actually needs to dress as the first Vigilante. I think that would also be fun. Or Jonah Hex, that would also be another fun one. Kyle Fletcher's one of those, I think I would have to put him in a dual costume with Takeshita. Oh, what would I want them to be? I might just start randomly being like, these wrestlers need to be these people. The one I'm most pushing for, however, Wheeler Yuta as Guy Gardner. His Asian ass is never going to Funky Town again. So, him as Guy Gardner. Chris Statlander as Ice. and Willow Nightingale as Fire, because they used to have a very, very, fire and ice relationship, to put it lightly. And then also, so Daystar brought up that Mercedes Moné, which is another one of our big favorites, she has done a lot of comic book themed wrestling outfits. I do believe she's done Wonder Woman already. She's done Poison Ivy as well. And then so, we're about to get the women's tag titles in there. So Daystar was like, okay, Mercedes Moné as Poison Ivy. Who's going to be Harley Quinn? We have Harley Cameron, who would be perfect for it. Oh my god. I just love wrestling so much. I'm 6 minutes into recording this. I need to stop talking about wrestling, or that's all that's going to happen during this show. This is probably the first time I've done the announcements before the books. It's because I really wasn't paying attention this week. Let's just talk about the Absolute books in kind of like a big chunk. I did not actually read Absolute Superman and Absolute Green Lantern, because A, I hate Al Ewing, B, I hate the guy who's doing Absolute Superman, because he's been very weird about the Al Ghul, so I personally have not agreed with it. But the big Absolute release is, of course, Absolute Evil, otherwise known as * Absolute Justice. And so we kind of get, the villains all teaming up. The big 3 reveals that happened in this book were Oliver Queen. Oh, well, I'm sorry, 4 big reveals. So Oliver Queen shows up in this very briefly. The death of Oliver Queen. The first glimpse we have at Absolute Hawkman, which is an odd choice for us to have this early. Well, it's not an odd choice to have this early, but how they did him is odd. But Hawkman fans are just glad to have him in things again. And then the last reveal, which is Absolute Lex Luthor, who has hair, is married to what I presume to be Lana Lang, given that she is ginger, and is just living on Smallville, being fine. Well, the book's called Absolute Evil, but the actual team is the Justice League, but it's all the Legion of Superheroes, or Legion of Supervillains. It's a whole thing. I think Veronica Cale is still a baddie in this, though, so hey. I got that Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Veronica Cale cover, by the way. It was hot. That's all I gotta say. Okay, so we can't talk about the Absolute Universe without at least bringing up its reception, or kind of countered with, or its reception versus the Ultimates Universe reception. And while I feel like the Ultimate Universe is ending and should have ended a while ago, I cannot say the same for the Absolute Universe. It feels like it could keep going on for a while, which is crazy given that only 3 of the books are ongoings, and I'm only reading 1 of them. And Absolute Martian Manhunter, but it is a mini. But it might, who knows? They might pull a fucking miracle and get a second extension. We don't know. That's all I really want to talk about, the Absolute Universe. I've talked less about the Absolute Universe than I did fucking the AEW DC crossover. Other number ones that released this week. We got DC's anthology series for October, DC's Zatanna Panic, or Zatanic Panic. It's basically all of DC's spooky characters. You got Zatanna has a story, Batman has a story, Etrigan, the Demon Man, has a story. What's his face has a story? Constantine, and Plastic Man, and Ambush Bug. I really only paid attention to the Plastic Man and Ambush Bugs ones, and maybe it's just because they are so far off from what I expected from this. Oh, and Raven got one too. That's how the Plastic Man and Ambush ones were so far off of what I expected from this book that it actually kept me very interested in it. With Zatanna Panic, or Zatanic Panic, it's so Plastic Man's is they're melting a bunch of children. Some villains, or I think it's Clayface. It probably is Clayface. But they have, melted a lot of the city. So Plastic Man's, slurping them up and then using, that extra body mass to defeat this villain. And it's really fucking gross. It's really fucking gross. Despite, the art style, being the same as, the old Plastic Man, mini that came out a while ago. It's really fucking gross. It's so fucking gross. It's so gross. And then Ambush Bugs is actually him going through the comic that we are currently reading, which I think it's always fun to see Ambush Bug. His is more of a Halloween story though, it's interesting. I do think that this book is very good. It's a very fun time. And I'm glad that DC continues to do this. However, I am more excited for their winter special, which is I saw Ma Hunkle kissing Santa Claus. Maybe it's just because Ma Hunkle's back, but this one kind of felt like I didn't realize that it was going to happen until I saw it in the October solicits. But I guess it's the same thing for Ma Hunkle's. I don't know. It was fun time. Other big number one, Gotham Academy First Year, issue 1. I'm kind of a fan of Gotham Academy. I'm a very big fan of Maps Mamaguchi. So this book is kind of acting as a prequel, more following Olive and her first year at Gotham Academy. So kind of finding out a lot of the secrets of her parent, or kind of delving more into her as a character. I don't know. I find it interesting. I think it's a fun time. I think that if you like Gotham Academy, of course you're already fucking reading this. I don't need to say much more about it. And I do believe it's only going to be a mini-series, so hey, if you want a good introduction to Gotham Academy before you go and actually read the full ongoing, it's great starting point. Kind of. Oh, fuck, I forgot about Booster's book. I'm handing it off to Stock to talk about Booster's book because Ted wasn't in it. I don't give a fuck.
So we also this week got the Justice League Omega Act special that is kind of like the prelude to DCKO. And honestly, I was kind of expecting and hoping for more from it. Like, basically, the plot synopsis is, like, so last week we got Justice League, we got Superman, and Booster's back in, like, the main timeline. But now, Booster's, like, friends with Time Trapper, I guess? And Time Trapper's like, we gotta go further in the past. Darkseid's already won in the future, so there's no point. And Booster's like, no, we have to tell Superman. Superman will fix everything. Which, like, okay. So they're about to, like, go do... So Time Trapper has them frozen, and Flash, like, zooms in, and he's like, I'm too fast for your time travel bullshit. And it's like, oh, right, yeah. The writers suddenly remembered Flash can time travel, so now he's involved in this. We're also at the same time, while Time Trapper, Booster, Flash are all going to, like, the future to see, like, oh, how scary the Omega Legion of Superheroes is, we are also getting flashbacks to Krypton, where it's kind of revealed that, like, the Kryptonians were building an ultimate weapon to destroy Darkseid, but it turns out it's actually an ultimate challenger, and so that's what DCKO is about. They're kind of trying to find the ultimate challenger to Darkseid, and Booster's really not doing much in this. Like, it's mostly Time Trapper doing exposition and being like, remember, it's hopeless, this is a big, really scary event. And, like, previously I had been of the opinion that, like, oh, we'll probably get, like, a Booster solo after this, or at least a mini-series, because he seems to be pretty important. But Booster seems to very much just be a MacGuffin. Like, he got superpowers this issue, which, like, I guess, sure, why not? He's either going to end up being, like, an important Deus Ex Machina, kind of at the end of DCKO, or he's not gonna, or be, like, important at all, and he's just gonna maybe get damseled in distress again. It was, like, a fine read. I don't even think you necessarily need to read it to understand DCKO. I think you just need to be like, they're fighting to figure out who's the best to defeat Darkseid, and it's like, alright, cool, fair enough. Like, I was pretty disappointed, especially since I've been looking for content for Booster Gold where he's actually doing stuff, but is what it is. Check it out if you want. There's some good Booster variant covers, allegedly, so.
I bought it. Updates on books that have been out for a while. Of course, Batgirl number 12. She's teaming up with Nissa Al Ghul to avenge her mother, Lady Shiva. We do get a Steph mention in it, which is nice, because she is worried about Cass, and Cass needs to answer her fucking calls back. Birds of Prey issue 26, we are 2 away from the book officially ending. They are still kind of trapped in that, like, the video game simulator. I'm still kind of confused about what the plot of current Birds of Prey is, but it seems like we're gonna wrap up this arc and the book's over, which is sad. It's sad. I really do wish that this book would just keep going forever. JSA issue 12, I'm pretty sure they're just still fucking up Obsidian. I'm pretty sure Obsidian's still in the
So, oh shit, the other Wildcat's back. Okay. Yeah, it's Ragnarok Part 2. They're still doing... Next issue is when they start the JSA Year 1. So, I assume they're wrapping up the current arc right now. They're doing like a JSA like Year 1 thing. It's weird. I don't like it. Poison Ivy issue 37. If I have not convinced you yet to fucking read Poison Ivy, fucking read Poison Ivy right now. I don't care. Fucking read it. I'm pretty sure Janet's fucking dying. It's a whole thing. It's Toxic Yuri to its highest form. As far as I can tell. Do I need to catch up on like 36 issues? Yes. Do I have the time to catch up on 36 issues? Not if I continue doing the show. Teen Titans Go issue 8. It's Teen Titans. Oh, Nubia 2 Real just came out. So if you didn't know, DC's been doing a lot of teen books recently. So Nubia is kind of like this is her second one actually. And it's by an author I like, I'm pretty sure. I have never read this author's work, so that's a different problem. But it's another, like, teen graphic novel about Nubia. I want to read it. I need to actually sit down and read both of them. I just have not had time to. But I know that the first one was very well received. Again, it got a sequel. There's very few of the DC graphic novels that get a sequel. So I definitely recommend that, especially if you have younger children, or like teenagers and not teenagers, more like middle schoolers in your life, get them this book. Next up we have Adventures of Superman, the Book of L, issue 2. I did not read this issue, but I remember hearing a lot about how people are very happy with how they're treating the super twins. They're not really acting like it's a one-and-done type situation with what they've dealt with. They're kind of delving more into the twins' psyche, how they are necessarily recovering from world. And I think that's really good. I'm very happy that the Book of L exists, because it does seem to be spotlighting a lot of those characters from the Superman mythos that, haven't really been getting much lately. Which is fun. It's always a good time. Batman issue 2 I did not read. Fuck you, Matt Fraction. Why the fuck would I do that? A lot of books came out this week, too. It was a very busy week, and I was a very busy person. Okay, and then the last book I'm going to talk about, Cheetah and Cheshire Robbed the Justice League, issue 3. So now we have, the official start of the team. We are getting what I presume to be Nissa's daughter, or she just says that she's the cousin of one of the Robins, and people are like, oh, that's Damian's cousin. I have no recollection of that, but okay. But they're kind of setting up the heist. They stole the Justice League card of, this superhero who's, a fucking, streamer. He is what people think Booster Gold is, and I think that's kind of funny. They rob him, steal his Justice League card to try and get into the building. This book is really good. But yeah, we are past issue 3, so I suggest that if you do want to read a heist book by Cheshire, or if you do want to read this heist book, wait for the full mini to come out. That is if you want to support Greg Rucka. He's a little weird. He's a little anti-Asian. He has not been anti-Asian in this book yet, though. So, maybe he's changed. I hope he's changed, actually. Okay, now on to the indie books. Okay, I am actually going to talk about Ahoy Comics, because recently they have been bringing back the Toxic Avenger. But right now they have Toxic Crusaders #1 and Toxie Team Up issue 4. It is crazy that we're bringing back the Toxic Avenger, is all I gotta say. And I know that there's a niche audience for the Toxic Avenger. Again, I am named after fucking Ash from Evil Dead. I understand a niche audience. So if you're a part of that niche audience, go check it out. Then also from IDW, I do want to bring up their new Godzilla book, called Starship Godzilla, which seems to be mech pilots and Godzilla kind of crossing forces. I don't know. It looks pretty awesome. We also have Star Trek Red Shirts issue 3. I do need to hop back onto this book. And I say this because I read the first issue. It's horrifying, by the way. It's kind of like an anthology, horror book, about, obviously, Red Shirts and Star Trek.
But I have recently been watching a lot of TOS again. I watched all of Lower Decks. My dad has always he's always brought me up with Star Trek. He is a Star Trek fan first and foremost. Unfortunately, my family in general is just very big Star Wars fans, so he has been left out of a lot of things. So we've been watching 2S recently, me and Stack. Now I really need to read some of the other Star Trek comics that are around it, because like the Star Trek universe itself is so expansive and it has so many bits and pieces in it that like there's so many places you can go, and it's so great, and I love Star Trek. I'm a huge Star Trek fan. I have been falling off Star Wars for years now. I like However, I refuse to watch Strange New Worlds. Fuck you mean Spock is straight. That is a gay man right there, okay? Leonard Nimoy would agree with me. Spock is a fucking gay man. Why is he getting so many bitches? The only reason I'm considering watching Strange New Worlds because I don't give a fuck about Pike. That's why we hate the fucking double-parter, the Measure-In, that happens in 2S, where it's just the cage all over again. I fucking don't care about Pike. Okay, the best Pike interpretation we've ever had is 2009's Star Trek by J.J. Abrams, where they blew Pike the fuck up. Anyway, the more important thing I need to say is the only redeeming quality of Strange New Worlds is fucking it's giving Uhura more, like, background. Because I was an Uhura girly from the moment I came out of my dad's womb, okay? I should not cut my mom out of the birth of me, now that I realize it. That was a lot of... She worked really hard on it, actually. I just want to talk about Star Trek. This is a problem with me. By the time I do this show, I have, like, my, like, little, like, special, like, weekly interest things. So, like, Pokemon cards or, like, Star Trek or, like, wrestling. And I just want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about comic books, but I can't do a what have I gotten into this week, like, video. Could I do that? What was in my brain last week? I guess it is just the live show. Oh, this is the only other thing I have to say in the news segment, because I did open this with the DC x AEW crossover because I was really excited about it. But they are doing a Strange Adventures project. They didn't say what, but they did say a project, which is my friendly reminder to all of you, because I know a lot of people jumped back on to the DCU because of Peacemaker and, you know, rewatching Superman. Don't fucking support it. Read fucking comics that aren't Tom King, okay? Because, like, this is becoming the Tom King cinematic universe. Congratulations, y'all. Y'all are feeding into the pocket of a war criminal. And he is a fucking war criminal, by the way. Like, he helped plan the Iraq invasion. He's not just a soldier who was sent there, which that's another moral argument that I can get into. He is a actual war criminal. He helped orchestrate the Iraq invasion. Okay, so fuck you, Tom King. Fuck you, James Gunn. How you gonna write an entire show about how Nazis are bad, but you're gonna suck the dick of the fucking war criminal at DC? What the fuck is wrong with you, James Gunn? Okay, I think I'm done. Alright, that's kind of it for Last Week in Comics. Up here is your next recommended video. We mentioned my live show a lot this episode. It happens every Saturday, 9 p.m. EST. On this channel, we're usually doing a variety show. We get to show off what our special interests were for this week. It's a whole lot of fun. You should go check it out. Or maybe up there it's another episode of Last Week in Comics. Maybe it's a YouTube short. Maybe it's something I haven't even fucking filmed yet. Down here is the rest of the playlist for Last Week in Comics. I've been doing this since November 2024, so if you want to check it out, check it out. And then over here is the subscribe button. I am going back home this weekend, and I will be taking things so I can film videos about comic books that I have been putting off for a while. But I will get those done. Like how much I think grading comics is a scam. How to start collecting single issues, because I know a lot of people don't understand how that can happen. Get more stuff. I don't know. Subscribe. I want to hit 1,000 subscribers by the White Wingfoot video essay, which is coming in February? It might be February. I might also just film it here because we already have everything for it. It's a whole thing. We're still planning it, okay? That's what's happening here. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done talking. And cut.